Well, hello, and happy Saturday to everyone. I hope everybody's having a great Saturday and a great weekend so far. Also, a great holiday, uh, and getting ready for the festivities and family and fun. It's coming around quick. My name is Don Terrell, and I want to welcome you to another great episode of The Color of Motion, where I like to say stories come in all shades. And I highlight people of color and diverse backgrounds in the industry of motion graphics, video animation, visual effects, cartoons, and comics. This space that I love so much. You know the drill. Jump on, say hello, let me know where you're tuning in from so I can give you the shout out that you deserve. But super excited that you're joining us for this episode. Been looking forward to it for quite a while now. Make sure that you jump into our Facebook group community. Say hello. Get connected. Facebook.com/groups. The color, excuse me. The Color of Motion is fast growing. We're having some fun conversations, sharing industry news, and just all around fun. So I definitely want to make sure that you get plugged in for sure. Also, you can check me out on all my other social platforms there. Make sure you connect with me. Definitely want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts, what you might want to see, who you might want to see. Just connect with me. Always looking to level up the show and make it better, of course. As you know, we broadcast live to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. A lot of people, check out the show from LinkedIn and Facebook. But I always highly encourage people to jump on over to my YouTube channel there and subscribe. Hit the bell notification, comment, and let me know what you think of the episodes. It definitely helps the channel for sure. You can also check out some of the other past great episodes that we've had so far. Like I said, we got a lot of great things happening, new things happening for this show. Like I said, the year is fast approaching, and so 2022 got a lot of big things planned for the show for sure. Also, you still have a little time to get into the contest for the show, win some Color Emotion swag when it is unveiled next year. Definitely want you to have an opportunity to get that for sure. All you really have to do, is two things. Ooh, that's on there. I need to take that off. Two things. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube. You have to go to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to the episode, the 1-year anniversary episode. Comment on there, get your swag on, and you'll be entered into the drawing for some cool Color of Motion swag that we got coming out. Definitely, like I said, want you to have an opportunity for that. I extended it up until I think next week, really, Christmas, which next week I think is our last episode before the Christmas holiday. So you got a little bit more time to get into it for sure. And we'll be announcing the winner next week on next week's episode. So definitely want to, like I said, have you be a part of that for sure. Like I said, website is going to be, we'll probably be unveiling that also as well next year. Ooh, let me, why is that still on? Let me make sure that, ooh, why is that still on? Oops. anniversary scene. Why is that? Okay, let me make sure I'm on the right scene here. Okay. Uh, like I said, the website, new website, we're working feverishly on that, so that'll be unveiled next year as well. A lot of great things, Instagram channel, just a lot of great things, new things happening for the show, and definitely want you, again, like I said, to get plugged in, be a part of the show. You're really helping making the show become popular and really big, so I can't thank the viewers enough for, like I said, helping the channel and the show grow. So just super, super excited for all the new things that are happening, for sure. What else? I think that is pretty much it. Like I said, definitely, if you would like to support, we're always looking for sponsors. That's another big thing that we're going to be working on feverishly next year, is really getting some sponsors for the show to help continue to level up the show and everything. But if you'd like to support and help me, like I said, to continue to do what I do and level up the show, you could always buy me a coffee. You can go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and, donate. buymeacoffee.com/Don Terrell. I should have that on there, but I don't think I do yet. I'll probably put it on next week, but I should have that on. Definitely want you to, like I said, be a part and support the channel and the show. So again, like I said, jump on, say hey. So like I said, we can get some engagement. Let me give you a shout out and just say how the holidays are going and everything like that. Like I said, Christmas holiday for those that celebrate Christmas, or Happy Kwanzaa, or all the other holidays that are coming up. I hope you're having a good one and a good rest of the year. It's hard to believe 2022 is just around the corner. With that, we are going to jump right into this episode for sure. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this one for a while. I kind of have a special place for what my next guest does, kind of do the same thing. So super excited to sit down, kind of chop it up with him about what he's doing, his process, and all of that. So my next guest gives people superpowers. As a VFX artist, he's had experience at every step of the process, but where he lays his hat is with the magic and energy effects, fire and fluid dynamics. He's always been an artist, drawing from a young age and going to art school for computer animation after high school. He would have gone directly into animation had he not pursued a career in music. We're going to dive into that too. For a few years, when they ended up needing visual effects for a few music videos, he stepped up and discovered his first passion was his true passion. It didn't take long for him to course correct and re-enter the field of visual art, this time focusing on visual effects for film and animation. Please, everybody, help me welcome my very special guest and friend, Mr. Stan Hillard Jr. Stan. I can see you have your...
Now they're going crazy.
And the crowd goes wild. See, we got a big studio audience. You can't see them. They're off to the side there. I can see you got your holiday set up there. So good.
Oh,
so
yeah. Compliments to the wife. She keeps the house looking great.
Awesome. It's a nice looking tree, man. I put my little tree up yesterday. I don't have a big full size tree. I have a little tabletop tree and put up some lights and stuff. But gotta get
however
into
you
the
want to
spirit.
celebrate it.
This doesn't. I
Yeah.
tell you, the weather for people, we're stands down here where I'm at in Texas, Houston. Houston, the weather's kind of changed up a little there today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Surprised me this morning when I took the trash out.
Surprised me too when I went out, because I went out and didn't have my, because when I first went out it was a little warm. I mean, it wasn't like cold, but it quickly got cold and windy fast, and I was like, oh man, I don't have my jacket. Oh man, but that's good. It gets us into the holiday spirit for sure.
Yeah.
So we are going to, like I said, I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I always say, appreciate you so much for being on the show, and just looking forward to sitting down, diving in, talking about a lot of stuff, because like you said, we kind of are in the same space here, and just want to get your thoughts on a lot of different things. So let's just jump right off the bat. So what was it about visual effects that you love, and specifically with fire, fluids, and dynamics? What was it initially that really kind of grabbed you?
Well, when visual effects, period, it really, every project that I work on, it always takes me back to my childhood. With me playing with my toys, or going outside being a ninja in the woods, or something, and I imagine all of these things going on around me, or all these things happening with my toys.
Yeah.
And with visual effects, I bring it to life.
Yeah.
So it was just that perfect marriage between me being an adult and me being my inner child again.
That's which is why I love it. Like I said, that it just immediately takes you back to this time there where you had so much fun, didn't think about all the, I guess, day-to-day things, and you're just letting your imagination run with you.
Yeah, and specifically with fire and smoke effects, it just, I don't know, it clicked with me. It clicked with me, and I found that I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I'm messing with kind of real world dynamics.
Yeah.
But then I'm able to manipulate it in different ways to make it do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
And just having that control over real world dynamics, just it spoke to me.
Yeah.
It spoke to that inner child again.
Well, I mean, and to that effect, we're starting to see, I mean, I don't think you can watch a movie today without some type of visual effect in it. And we're starting to see that more and more in films. Do you feel like it's necessary, it's overused, or there's a fine balance to kind of get when you're using visual effects when it comes to storytelling in film?
There is absolutely a balance that needs to be found. As far as it being overused, no, I would never say that it's overused, partially because I'd be out of a job. But other than selfish reasons, I don't think it's overused until you start seeing it.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of films and shows that we watch that we don't even realize we're seeing visual effects.
Yeah.
When you see set extensions, or things that are getting taken out, or things that are getting put into the scene and stuff like that, and you don't even know that it's there.
Yeah.
You can't say it's overused, because you didn't even know it was there.
Yeah. And I think
it's when
go ahead.
It's when it's in your face.
Yeah.
It's when it's in your face is when you start to feel like, hey, it's a lot of computer going on here.
Yeah. And I think that's when, and I guess that's when everybody says you're doing a great job, when you're not thinking about just the fact that it's a visual effect or CGI or anything like that, and you're not really noticing it.
Right.
So how did were your parents kind of encouraging of your talents, or how did your parents kind of foster your passions when you were younger?
Oh man, let me tell you, I have the and don't get me teared up here, because I have the absolute best parents in the world. They never told me to not pursue my passion. They what they did, they asked me what I wanted to do. They gave me an avenue to pursue it. But my dad always said, always have a backup plan. And so, you know, I always had a backup plan until I didn't need it anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know,
So what was
and
it? I mean, you initially went into music. So what was
yeah.
your was visual effects your backup plan, and you were thinking of music, or what was it?
No, actually my backup plan was marketing, business marketing. Um, and so I actually went to school after I went to art school, and then I started doing music. While I was doing music, I also went to night school for to get a degree in business marketing. It turned out to be a waste of money because I never use it. But hey, at least I got it if I
Got
need
it.
it.
Something to fall back. You know that thing like your parents said, you got something to kind of fall back on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I got this safety net just in case I need it. But thank God. I haven't needed to use it just yet. That sheet of paper is just snug up in the shelf right now.
Let's hope it stays there for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It can stay there forever as far as I can.
So what avenue in music were you kind of going down before, you transitioned into the visual effects? What were you doing in music?
Oh man, I was in an R&B group.
Singing or
Yeah,
playing it?
singing,
Oh, okay.
singing. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. I was all boy band, just straight up boy band. Yeah, until it turned into a boy duo.
I think that's how it usually starts. You have these aspirations, and then things happen. Oh, I got to drop out, or people
Yeah,
fall
yeah. It's
off.
it's real funny, man. Cause the when we finally whittled down to a duo, the guy that I was singing with, he while we were still doing music, he started writing scripts
Mm.
for films, and he started getting into films. And then he's the one that wrote the music video that and directed the music video where I jumped in
Yeah.
and I did the effects and animation for it. And then down the road, I started thinking to myself, man, I don't want to do music anymore. I want to focus on this. I want to get back to animation. I want to
Yeah.
get back to visual effects. But I was thinking to myself, man, how am I gonna tell my partner though? Because
Man, I think I found something
but
different. It's gonna have to be a
but there's a
single.
there's a kicker to it. What's so funny is when I finally sat and talked to him, I said, "Hey, man, I've been thinking this for a while, and before I could even get it out of my mouth, he said, "Yeah, me too." And he till that day he has been my partner in doing films. He is
Oh,
a
okay.
writer and director. Courtney Glide.
Oh,
He's
okay.
a writer and director of a lot of short films and feature films that I've worked on, and
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
brought him in on projects that I'm working on, and we've been back and forth just partnering up on a lot of different film projects ever since.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome, man. What type of stuff does he like writing? I mean, does he like writing specific type of films, or horror, sci-fi,
I
romantic
I
comedies?
get
What
on
is?
him a lot. I get on him a lot about him being very dark with his themes.
Okay.
But he does a lot of, I wouldn't say it's necessarily dark themes, but he takes a lot of gritty reality
Hmm.
based things, and he likes to tell gritty stories. They're not always a happy ending. They're sometimes it's a sad ending, but it's a real ending.
Yeah.
It's something somehow. That story has happened somewhere before. Like one movie that he put out I want to say 2 years ago. I did the editing and I did the visual effects on it, and unfortunately, I also did the color on it. I am not a colorist. Let me just say that. I'm not a
It's
colorist.
a discipline in and up. People don't realize that. I guess clients, I mean, like I said, and you probably get this from clients and people like that. They think, okay, they'll get you to do the visual effects, color grading and all the other stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, that is a
Yeah,
separate
I
kind of.
straight up told him, like, man, do not ever hire me to do color again. That's not me. But anyway, that film, he put it out on Amazon, and it's been doing well on Amazon. And he actually just sold it to BET.
Oh,
Well, I don't
wow.
know the exact terms of it, but he
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sold it to
yeah.
BET. And so
Awesome.
it's a film called Blink. It's about domestic abuse,
Awesome.
and so it's a gritty story, man. It's a hard watch,
Wow.
but you fall in love with some of the characters in it too,
Oh,
and
man. Oh,
there are
man.
visual effects in that film that hopefully you will never even know are there. So,
So
so
tell me, what's kind of your process when you approach a project for visual effects, or do you have a specific process that you kind of go through?
yeah, well, first there is the stage of doubt because every every single time I get a project, I have that little moment of, oh, can I do this? Man, I have to get over that first, and then there's a moment of sitting down with the director or whoever the creator is, making sure I get their vision, making sure I'm understanding their vision, and I soak it in, and I become an arbiter of their
Yeah.
vision. Um, it's a lot, taking in a lot of references. Uh, I learned, actually not too long ago. I learned that going in and doing projects without taking in references is very dumb.
Yeah. They say just say it like it is. It's very dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb. You you absolutely want to surround yourself with references. So yeah,
Def-
yeah, I have a period of time to where I'm pulling a lot of those in, and then getting the vision down, trying to figure out how to put his or her vision onto the screen.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that's a process all in itself before you even get to the computer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Now, and I'm curious. How do you so say like a project, what's the typical time range and how do you balance multiple projects at the same time, or how do you manage that type of thing? Because it isn't like you're, and I don't know,
mhm.
you're a one person studio for the most part. So how do you balance, okay, I'm working on this project, but then of course I got to have other projects coming in and working
Yeah,
on other projects. How do you manage
yeah.
that kind of thing?
Two things. One, deadlines are your best friend. That allows me to schedule when I'm going to do things. And my wife has actually recently stepped in as my, I don't know what the technical term for what her position would be, but she manages my time very well. Because it got to the point to where I was not managing my time very well, and I was working way too much. And so she stepped in and helped me. Okay, she asked me, okay, how long is it going to take you to do this shot? How long is it going to take you to do this shot, this shot, and this shot? And so she helped me start balancing and I mean, I'm sorry, scheduling
Yeah.
it out when I'm going to be working every day, when I'm going to make myself stop working every day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
And,
you got to have
yeah,
a cutoff time here, Dollar. I need some time.
dude, man, I when I get in the zone, when I'm in that space, I
Yeah,
can work all day, not eat,
yeah.
not do anything, and I'll just lose my, well, not lose, but the rest of the day will just get soaked into work.
Goes quick.
And that's dangerous because I have a family. I have a wife and 2 kids and 2 little dogs, and all of them need to see me at some point. At some point today.
We haven't seen Daddy in like 3 days.
But yeah, that it's scheduling time and also not being afraid to take on partners. Break bread.
Yeah.
Break bread
Yeah.
with some other artists.
Yeah.
Hire
Was that
some,
hard?
hire,
Now, was that hard to do initially? Because I know that was something for me that I really had to work at, because I guess you're so used to doing everything yourself, but then trusting, whoever it is that you bring in is going to, do what they say they're going to do, and do it at a level that you want, needed to be done. Was that a hard thing for you to kind of start to do?
Man, absolutely, absolutely. That was probably, I'm gonna say, top three things, hardest things to do. That was one of the hardest things for me to do, was to say, okay, I'm going to allocate these shots to another artist, and have them work on it. There's a little show that I work on a weekly basis. it's uh it's called Superhero Kids. And it's not the pinnacle of the best visual effects or anything. It's a weekly kids show. And so the point is to get some flashy graphics on there,
Yeah.
and just make it appealing for kids, right? Well, even that, there's a certain way that I like to do it, a certain way I like to get it done, a certain way I like to keep it organized.
Yeah.
But it started becoming so much work, and plus I'm still getting films and all these other types of commercial projects and stuff where I had to hire somebody else to
Yeah.
to help
Yeah.
with the show. And it's a hard process, just because I don't always know what everybody's capable of.
Yeah.
Even if you look at somebody's reel,
Yeah.
you still question, okay, how much of that did they do?
Yeah.
How much?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Did somebody else help them with that? Was that a tutorial that they ran through?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a process of first trusting somebody to do the work, and then teaching them how to do it your way.
Yeah.
And then sometimes letting go of your way, because maybe your way is not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a better idea. And it got to the point where I actually told the guy who I worked with, his name is Matthew. I told him, hey man, if you got a better idea how to do this, don't be afraid to speak up.
Yeah.
Let me know, because this is the way I do it, but it may not be the best way.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to let myself accept that.
Yeah. 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 Trust me, like I said, it is a hard thing to kind of grasp on and kind of let go, learning how to delegate, for sure. When did you feel like you were at this, point where you kind of trusted your skills? I mean, as I'm assuming, the videos, the music videos that you were doing for kind of froze up there, so hopefully there you go. I'm assuming the music videos that you were doing for your group was kind of really your first foray into visual effects, and doing that. When did you feel like, okay, I'm getting comfortable enough to where I decide, okay, I really want to focus on this, and I'm pretty comfortable with the skills that I got moving forward? Oh, your audio went out there. Hopefully you're gonna unmute yourself. There's Stan. Stan was having technical difficulties with his computer, so he's doing this from his phone, which is, it's a small screen, so it's always the nature of technology. You kind of have to roll with the punches there. It says you're still muted. It says you still have yourself muted there, Stan. So hopefully we can get your audio going. Oh, Stan dropped out there. I'm going to jump to this solo scene to while he logs back on, having a little nature of technical difficulties. He was having some issues. He's jumped on. Let's see if we get him back in here. Uh, uh,
Are we
all
back
right.
now?
Yeah, we are back now.
All right.
I was
All
telling
right.
them,
When in doubt, always
always
restart.
reboot, always reboot when in doubt, man. But I was telling them, hey, the nature of technology, you got and live streaming, you got to roll with it,
Yeah.
with just what happens. But I was saying, uh, at what point did you kind of start to feel more comfortable with taking on bigger challenges in your projects that you were getting?
Well, the music videos were actually not my first commercial projects
Okay.
because actually before that I did a couple of actual commercials with some ad agencies,
Oh, okay.
uh, and I did a lot of 3D graphics, not animation, but graphics from 3D art for a lot of different entities and clients and stuff. So
Yeah.
I was kind of working freelance a little bit with small projects up to that point. But it wasn't long after doing the music videos where I got confident enough to start doing actual work in short films. Now, don't let confidence fool you. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that I was very good, because I I look back on many of those projects in my early years. I'm like,
Hey, I
burn
trust.
it,
I feel you. I
burn it.
feel it. And like I said, that's the nature of just doing the work because you're gonna get. That's just an inevitability. You're gonna get better and learn new things, and skills just level up as you continue to do. I say the same thing about the show, man. If you look at this first episode of the show, it's a little bit.
Hey, oh, I wanted to say, I love your presentation. I was sitting here watching the presentation. I'm like,
And like I said, it's taken me a little bit to get there. Like I said, if you go back to the first episode, okay, yeah, like I said, you learn along the way. You just learn to get better. So I can totally feel you there. I can totally feel you. Like I said, for those just tuning in, we are having some fun sitting here talking with my guy, Stan. Raul, positive vibrations, my brother from another mother in Jamaica. I appreciate you tuning in for
absolutely,
sure.
Raul.
Yeah.
Got to keep it positive.
Oh man. So do you enjoy working? I mean, of course it's fun working on a lot of different projects, but do you enjoy film more than say like commercials or things like that? Is that kind of where you're kind of really trying to steer yourself more into?
Uh, Generally, yes, generally, but I haven't enjoyed. I want to be careful saying that. I I'll just say I haven't enjoyed every single film that I've worked on.
Yeah. And I don't think any
But
actor would say that either. So,
yeah, but generally, yeah, that's where I'd like to spend most of my time is working on films because that's where my passion is. I love movies
yeah,
since I was 4 years old. I've loved movies, and that's where I like to spend a lot of my creative time is with those. However, I've worked on some commercial projects that were pretty fun.
yeah,
I've seen some commercials where I've been like, man, I would love to work on that. Anybody bring me an inspired commercial project
yeah,
and they need some cool visual effects on it. I'd love to step in and do that.
yeah,
Um, but if if we're comparing apples to apples, then I'm gonna go for the film apple.
Yeah. That apple's a little more juicier, but like you said, I
Yeah.
guess you have your good projects, your bad projects, regardless of whether it's something that you like or not. And um, I'm gonna ask this. I'm assuming, and you can clarify it or not, that most of the projects that are coming your way are projects that are coming to you. So it's not like you're going to, say, companies or producers trying to sell the idea of using visual effects or animation or anything like that. And am I correct in that? That, I mean, you're not going to clients trying to convince or kind of telling them how they can use visual effects. Everything that's coming to you is somebody's already got that idea that that's what they want to use, and they're coming to you to do it.
Yeah. I haven't had to go out pitching my talents very much.
Yeah.
That's been another blessing that I haven't had to do any door-to-door sales for VFX.
That's what I want to talk to you about on the side. That's on the side for sure.
Yeah. All of my projects have come from pretty much word of mouth, or so people coming across me on social media. Or, my reel floating around out there. They say they came across my reel and they reached out to me for a project. So that's the importance of putting yourself out there on social media and having that good relationship with your clients. I've had some clients where I feel like I didn't do the best work with them, but they liked my work enough at the time. I'm talking about early on. They liked my work enough at the time, and they enjoyed my personality. We still get along, and so they'd still refer me.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have a positive relationship with people.
Yeah.
Because that helps. So yeah, everything has come word of mouth. I haven't had to go out begging for food.
Yeah, that's oh man, that's like I said, that's always the best way for sure. And before we continue on, we're gonna take a look at some of Stan's work, see some of the great visual effects that he's done, and continue on and dive into a little more of his story here. So let's take a look at some of Stan's work with Origin Point. Some super dope work there, Stan, for sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnny Walker jumping in, big Walt looking
Hey,
good.
that's my neighbor.
Appreciate you supporting your guy there and tuning in. So, do you feel like, obviously, you've gotten yourself to a point where you can kind of tell and determine how long a shot's going to take you to do?
Yeah. I can't, if I can see the footage. If I see the footage, I know what we're going to do. I can't typically say, okay, that's going to take me about 3 hours. Okay, that's going to take me about 2 days, or whatever. Or if it's a really big ambitious shot, hey, that's going to take me about 3 weeks.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I can typically look at a shot and tell how long it's going to take. Um, it's a little more difficult if I can't see the footage first, because you never know what to expect if you're not looking at the footage. Am I going to have to roto out some people that's walking in front of the effect, or
Yeah.
what kind of challenges am I going to have to come across here? But yeah, in general, yeah. If I can see the shot and I know exactly what needs needs to be shown, I can tell you how long it's going to take.
Yeah, yeah. Now, in this could be a touchy thing. Maybe not. I'll ask it anyway. But of course, a lot of the stuff that you're kind of working on. I mean, you're not working on say big budget films and things like that.
Mhm.
How do you approach when say a up and coming director or your friend per se comes to you? I'm working on this film. You know, um, budget wise, like I said, visual effects is time consuming, even on the short things, and trying to get it to
Yeah,
look right is a time consuming. A lot of people don't kind of get that, especially if they want
yeah.
it to look really seamlessly with the film that they've shot. So, how do you approach, or how do you go about, the discussion of what it's really going to cost, or what you're willing to do and not do, as far as okay, this the budget wise
Yeah.
just doesn't match up.
Well, a lot of times, directors or whoever I'm talking with, whoever my contact is, they don't always like to give the budget right up front, and so they'll just ask me, okay, what is your price to do this? And so I'll give them my full out price, and I would say every time except for maybe two times, it's been outside of their budget, and it's expected. I expect my price to be outside of a lot of independent filmmakers'
Yeah,
budgets,
yeah,
um, but I do I tell them, I encourage them, hey, if this is outside of your budget, cool, let me know. Let's talk. Let's find out what we can do, what fits within your budget, and then I'll let you know what I'm able to do for that. Because yeah, man, visual effects, it takes a long time to get it to look right, and I have burnt myself, shot myself in the foot so many times for taking a project for too little money,
yeah.
because I thought it'd be a cool project to do. And it stops being cool real fast.
You're sitting there, man. What am I? How much? And you've been working on it for days, and like, how much am I getting
Yeah.
for this now?
Yeah, I was working on one film. I'm not gonna say what the film
Yeah,
was, but I
yeah.
was working on one film, uh, and I was brought on last minute because they had some other VFX artists that they either couldn't get the shots done, or for whatever reason they dropped off the project. And so I got brought in last minute, but they still needed like 70 shots done or
Wow,
something like
that's a
that.
lot of shots.
and and yeah, and they said, yeah, man, we're trying to wrap up this film. We got it sold to such and such. We just got to get it done, but this is all we got left in the budget. And of course, what they had left in the budget was not what I would charge for what they were asking me to do. But I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'm still in the process of developing relationships
Yeah,
with directors and
yeah,
with
yeah,
filmmakers and
yeah,
stuff like that. So let me take on this project, and let me develop a good relationship with this director, because maybe their next film
yeah,
they'll have the budget for me.
yeah, yeah.
And so I did it. Oh man, it was a pain, but and I finally got it done
How
because
long did it
it's
take?
like,
How long did that take you?
dude, that project took about 3 months
3 months.
to finish. Three
And
months
so,
to finish.
in between, and that goes back to my last question, or my previous question. In between
Yeah.
that time, you're working on that for 3 months. So, do you
Mhm.
balance that out with other projects, or are you just like I said? Okay, I'm working on this for 3 months, and have bringing
I
in
do.
other projects.
Yeah, no, I balance it out with other projects. Like I said, I have the weekly kids show that I work on, and that's an automatic. Every week they need some effects from me, so I have to make sure that I get that done because that's that's a definite check coming
Yeah,
every month.
yeah, yeah,
I have a I have an architectural company that I work with, Naylor Industries, and it's not anything glamorous. You're not going to see a lot of dragons or whatever. You're not going to see anything fancy, but it's steady. It's steady work. They
yeah,
need product renderings. They
yeah,
need animations for their installation videos and stuff
yeah,
like that. And so I supply that,
yeah,
and that's a dedicated check every month. So I have my dedicated checks every month. That's my base,
yeah,
and then so any projects that I get on top of that, that's that's me branching out and
yeah,
getting more work. And so that's what this film was at the time, was one of those extra projects that I'm bringing in. But those extra projects keep me from taking on maybe some other project that I really wanted to do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so I have to be picky with what I do take in, because you only have so much time.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
which is why you raised the question: how you make time for all of this,
Yeah, and
all this
even
project
less
stuff.
time, like I said, with a family. I mean, when
Oh
you got a
yeah,
family
yeah.
and other obligations, it's even more time that you have to manage in a much better way. And to that kind of effect, what are your thoughts on, and because you're working on multiple things and multiple projects maybe at a time, what are your thoughts on plugins versus say creating an effect from taking the time to create an effect from scratch or this and that? Do you start with plugins or just that kind of formula?
That is a constant struggle with me, because my artistic brain always wants to create something from scratch. I'm always thinking, okay, is this a project? Is this a shot that I can create something from scratch? Do I have the time? Do they have the budget for that? Um, a lot of times, like especially with the kids show that I work on, a lot of times those projects, I will use stock effects, but
Yeah,
maybe I'll throw in some extra stuff, like I'll do a particle simulation or
yeah,
I'll do a smoke simulation around it or something. But to keep time, because it's on a time crunch every single week, I'll throw in some stock effects, and I've gotten to the point to where I actually start creating my own stock effects.
stop. Yeah,
So it's not something that you're gonna see everywhere else.
yeah.
That's a Stan Hillard stock effect right there. so
Yeah,
so
but it
yeah,
is,
I've created templates and stuff. So
but it is
and especially
such a
with the
time saver, though. I mean,
oh yeah,
with some
yeah.
of
It
the
absolutely is. Like, I don't have anything against stock effects because they're being used in films
yeah,
all the time,
yeah,
and like mostly in the background though.
yeah,
Like if you see like a big smoke plume in the background of a shot, most likely I bet you that's a stock effect.
yeah,
They
yeah,
didn't take the time to simulate that out.
yeah,
But all the hero effects and stuff like that, yeah, that's what they spent their time on,
yeah,
is those hero effects.
yeah, 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 for
So
sure.
it's about picking and choosing where do you need to save your time and where can you put all your creative juices.
Yeah, gotcha. Mr. Downtown DeMille, I appreciate you tuning in. Hey, better late than never. I appreciate that for sure. You supporting the show and checking in. What are who's, like I said, who out there do you, visual effects, do you like seeing or, have kind of been, definitely kind of follow that type of thing. I know, for me, I'm, I follow a lot of his stuff, and I really do kind of use him as an example of just, you know, how you can use social media to really get yourself out there, and you never know who's watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, Man, and his name just slipped my video co-pilot, Andrew Kramer. Andrew Kramer,
Andrew Kramer.
really big in visual effects and After Effects. And so, like I said, for most people that don't know who Andrew Kramer is, he's a visual effects artist. He is visual effects, but he started out doing just After Effects tutorials. And J.J. Abrams came across his tutorials, loved what he was doing, and now he's doing all of J.J. Abrams' movie trailers, intros, and all that kind of stuff. Who is it out there that you kind of really enjoy seeing their work, what they're doing, and really kind of pick it apart just to see how they're doing it? Oh, your audio went out again. And Stan may drop out to get his audio back on, which he did. I'm going to jump back to my scene here while Stan gets back in. Again, I appreciate everybody jumping in. Just a little heads up, like I said, Stan was having a little technical difficulties with his laptop, so he's broadcasting and coming on from his phone. So that's why we're having these little kind of technical issues with him having to restart with his audio. He's doing the interview from his phone, but we are definitely, like I said, hey, that's the way live stream and technology rolls. But he's back. Hopefully we got him here. We got the audio. He's back.
Hey, I put my phone on do not disturb. I think I did. I thought I did, but I'm still getting calls.
Oh, okay. I have
what's
to remind
going on
myself of that myself.
Yeah. I got your question though. I got your question. Who do I look up to? And you mentioned Andrew Kramer.
Yeah.
Andrew Kramer actually was a big inspiration for me as well. Because it was because of his tutorials that let me see that this was something that I could actually do. I had, even though I'd gone to school already for animation, I'd learned animation, but when I graduated school, I really still didn't feel equipped.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was ready for the industry still. But when I saw Andrew Kramer's his tutorials, and I took a few of them, and I saw like, man, this is really easy. I really understand this stuff. Like I can predict what he's going to do before he actually comes around to doing it. But I still would do the tutorials just to get that hands-on training with it. So he gave me, his tutorials gave me the confidence to pursue it. But then once I started really getting into it, I came across another artist, Alan McKay.
Yeah, Alan McKay. Yeah, great guy too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that he had a mentorship, and so I was like, man, it's a lot of money for a mentorship.
Hey, trust me, I thought the same thing. And like I said, I watch a lot of his videos as well. And man, I would have loved to take in some of his, but yeah,
I was thinking to myself, man, he puts out a lot of free content on YouTube. I'm curious what this mentorship is all about, though. But I bit the bullet. I took on this mentorship, and I started learning. The first mentorship I took on, and yes, first, because there were multiple. The first I took on was teaching how to be a technical director in the effects department. Yeah, and so I took that on, and I was like, oh man, it's not as scary as I thought it was. I can do this. I can learn scripting, and I started scripting my own tools to use to help in production, and I learned how they do the big blockbuster effects. I don't do them very often because I don't have to, because my work doesn't usually call for it,
Yeah.
but I know how
Yeah. Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm ever called to do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it got me into, I wouldn't say addicted, but it got me into a good habit of investing in myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so every year, not even, I don't even restrict it to yearly, but I would say at least once a year I will find a good um, lesson, something that I can buy,
Yeah.
that's not just free
Yeah.
online somewhere, something I can really buy and dig deep into an area that I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
And so I've done a few with Alan McKay. I've done some with some other people whose names are not immediately popping up in my
Yeah.
mind.
No,
But
I totally understand, because like I said, I follow Alan McKay too. Hadn't bit the bullet
uh-huh.
like you have, but I've watched a lot of his free stuff, and and I will say this, and I'll give him a ton of credit, which I like people like that. He responds back when you message
Mhm.
him. He responds back, because I've responded to a lot of his YouTube videos and interviews that he's done, and he's always responded back. So that's always impressed me about Alan, because he does have a lot of followers, and he does have a lot of people that follow what he does. And I know there are some people that, there's another guy, really super dope motion effects artist, but he does a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. Um, he shows a lot of his stuff on LinkedIn. I think his name is, something Perry. Um, but he's always doing these crazy kind of motion graphic effects and things
Mhm.
like that. Has a ton of people that view him and stuff. But the only thing that kind of was a little off-putting with him, which I get, if you got a lot of people commenting and you got a lot of people following you, it, you're not going to get back to everybody. But
Yeah.
the one thing that kind of stood out to me was he never responded back. Even if you just said, "Hey, I like what you did. It was pretty cool," or had a question about
Yeah.
how'd you do this, or what'd you use to kind of do that. He never really responded back. And like I said, I get it. He's got a family. He's got a lot of stuff he's doing. But I think that's what I think that's what really takes you to another level, when people see that, hey, you're willing to share. You can comment and say, hey, thank you for liking my stuff, thank you for watching my stuff, here's how I
Yeah.
kind of did this, or if I had a question or something like that, you take the time to respond back. That's why I give Alan
Yeah.
a lot of props, because he does that.
It's inspirational.
Yeah.
It's inspiration, just for them to acknowledge you. It's inspirational. I've I've had a few conversations with, I guess you can call them conversations, maybe going back and forth once or
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I've had a few conversations with Alan. Some other artists that I admired, I've reached out to, and we've had conversations, talked about what they're doing. They asked me what I'm doing, and I think it's, for me, it's about feeling like you're a part of the overall community.
Yeah.
They see you as a peer, you see them as a peer, and I've had some. I am by no means trying to put myself up on a pedestal, but
Yeah.
I've had some people reach out to me as well, saying, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know I love the video that I saw that you worked on." It's like, oh, cool. That's what this feels like.
Hey, why do you think I got tried to get you on the show? Got you on the show, man. You just, and like you said, it makes you feel good when somebody
Yeah.
responds back. And like I said, I think it is all about, and and I've heard it's a very small community. And so,
Yeah.
showing that, you're a part of the community, don't mind engaging with somebody, don't mind answering a question, helping somebody along the way, I think goes a long way when you're getting that next thing or somebody recommends you to somebody else because okay, he's a pretty cool guy. You know, he's really amiable and doesn't mind interacting. It goes a long way, and it speaks a lot to who that person is, who you are as a person.
Yeah, yeah, really does.
So, has there been uh, uh, an effect? What was the most challenging effect for you that you've done to this point? That, like I said, you already said you have those moments when you initially start like, can I do this? But what was the most challenging effect once you dove in? Now, okay,
Yeah.
this is working me here.
Well, it's it's there is okay. I have an answer for that. There's definitely a one effect that was the most challenging effect. But I will add to that by saying it's not the most impressive effect, in my opinion,
Yeah.
that I've done, but it was the most challenging, and it's the very first shot on my reel. It's
Oh, the
it's
head
yeah,
explosion.
the head explosion. Like, I actually want to go back and redo that shot because now with what I know, I
Yeah.
feel like I can make it 10 times better.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
still love that shot so much because of how challenging it was. I the guy who's in the shot, his name is Bath. He has an Instagram. He's a comedian on Instagram and TikTok. He goes by Bathmaster. I was doing. He had me doing a lot of like Frozone effects
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
him,
Yeah.
and yeah. So yeah, you saw some of those, and he had this other character. He was doing this roach, and I called him up one day, and I said, Bath, man, I got this shot that I really want to try to do. I've never done it before. I know how to, or I know in concept how to do it, but I've never done it. I just need a shot to do it on. Do you have something, or you have any ideas for a skit where I can try the shot out? And he said, yeah, that sounds pretty fun. So he did this roach skit, and where I would blow the roach's head up, and then he'd come back with just like a bandage on his head. and, and so I told her, look, I'm like going all out with the explosion. Like your entire head is going to explode. And so,
Oh
I
man.
went through the process of doing it, and it was definitely a learning curve. Even though I knew in concept
Yeah.
how to do it, actually getting all the simulations right, and it's multiple simulations stacked on top of each other. It was difficult. It was definitely a learning curve, a learning process.
Yeah.
But now that I've done it, now that I know how to do it, I could go back and do it a lot faster and a lot better.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I say that it's personally it's not my most impressive shot, but it's definitely the most challenging shot
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I've done.
Yeah.
And
And for
I, re-
you,
I
and for you, is that the
go ahead.
best part? Kind of that collaboration, or the artist or client trusting you enough when you have an idea of something, saying, "Hey, let's go for it."
I love that. I love it. I always want to make sure that I'm sticking within the creator's vision because I always remember I am not the top creator here.
Yeah.
Ultimately, whatever I do has to be within what the top creator is wanting. Um, I just want to make sure you still hear and see me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. You froze for a second, but we got
Okay,
you.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but yeah, whenever I get that opportunity to talk with the director beforehand, before a shot is done, before it's conceptualized, I'm able to get my views on in there before any camera ever hits any set. That's always the best experience for me because at that point I can tell them how it needs to be shot in
Yeah.
order for me to do it properly. I hate. I mean, I take on the projects all the time, but I hate getting those shots to where it's they want the most done, but it's shot in the worst way
Yeah.
in order to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I try to encourage a lot of directors. Hey, if you know you're going to be doing visual effects in your film, find your VFX artist, find your VFX supervisor first,
Yeah.
and get them on set. Talk to them before you do these shots, so you know you're shooting it properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I think that's
so
something as a director they learn very, they really pick up quick too. They
yeah,
may not figure, okay, as a director, I got to get all the key people that are going to be bringing this vision together as soon as possible to really, like you say, get the shot done the best way in mind. And I
yeah,
have to know that in my head, okay, I'm going to be using a visual effects or CGI. It needs to be shot this way. It needs to be lit this way for it to come out
yeah,
the best way.
yeah. But a lot of new directors, they don't know
No, they
that
don't
right
think
away.
like that. They're just
They
shooting.
they just think, oh, I'll just give them the shot however, and they'll just work their magic.
And just put it in there. Make it fit. It's
Like, all right, yeah, it can happen, but you're gonna be paying a lot more for it.
Oh man, I tell you, it's amazing. So, for you, what are the tools of your trade? I mean, obviously, After Effects, but what are you using for your fluids, dynamics, things like that?
Yeah, so my go-to software is After Effects and 3ds Max. And in 3ds Max, for my fluid and fire smoke simulations, I use fume effects. For my particles, I have used thinking particles.
Mm-hmm.
I am right now. I'm actually dabbling around in Tyflow,
Okay.
mostly because it's free. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
free and it's super powerful. So I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
let me check this out really quick. But I've played around in Blender. I use Blender for some things, but I'm so ingrained in 3ds Max that
Yeah.
switching over to Blender is like a foreign language to me. Um,
I'm trying to learn it. I'm trying to pick it up myself, but it is a different kind of uh, methodology. I mean,
yeah,
they've gotten way better than when, like I said, I first came across Blender. It was just
yeah.
definitely
I
wasn't through.
definitely respect it. I respect Blender.
You
They
can do a
they
lot,
definitely
yeah.
have my respect.
I was surprised because and it's funny because and I really want to dive a little more into it too because I was playing around with some of their uh, fire effects and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
this is really pretty cool for a free
yeah.
program.
For
What you
free
can do,
software, yeah,
and obviously you've seen some amazing work come from it,
hmm
and ultimately it's the tool and it's the artist really
yeah,
behind the tool and what they really put into it. But
yeah,
for a free program, I'm really impressed. And like I said, they're just constantly making it better. And they just
yeah.
released
Just
version
released
yeah
3.0.
3.0. So
Yeah. I,
I'm
I
happy.
was thinking, I was actually last night while I was at my desk and I was working on a shot. I'm currently working on this little Spider-Man video. Um, while I was working on it, I saw what's the guy's name? I cannot remember his name, but he does a lot of Blender tutorials,
Oh,
and
and Andrew Price. Is it Andrew Price? Because
I don't know. It's the donut guy.
yeah, Andrew Price.
That's him. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Andrew
saw, I
Price.
saw that he just put out
A new donut
another
tutorial,
a
and,
new
yeah, and
donut
he made some
tutorial. I was
killing
like, you
on
know
that.
what?
I was
I've never done one of these donut tutorials, but I might try to do it this time. So I'm actually watching the tutorial while I'm over here working on the Spider-Man video.
and crazy enough, he does a donut tutorial every new version. Every new
Yeah,
version, he does a donut tutorial, and I'm like,
yeah.
and
I'm like, I know you tired of donuts, man, but
hey, I mean, it's insane because a lot of people and now like I said he has this whole page of just people that have done the donut tutorial because
yeah,
so many people have done that donut tutorial and I did the
yeah,
last one on I think it was 2.9 when that came out. I said, well, I was like you, let me try this donut tutorial. But like I
Yeah,
said, for a free program, it's a very powerful software, and it's
yeah,
gaining traction more and more. It seems like.
yeah. The genius, but the genius of him doing that donut tutorial though is because while it's teaching you the software, it's not, a donut is not scary.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're not sitting there, you're not scared off by, oh man, I can't create this whole character.
yeah,
Oh man,
yeah,
I can't blow up this building. Oh man,
yeah, yeah,
oh, I can't animate some alien creature.
yeah.
Oh, but I can make a donut.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's a mistake a lot of like newcomers make. They want to jump right in and make this big elaborate thing or try this big elaborate thing. And that's
Yeah,
the like you said, the beauty of, him or other, creators that just create this simple thing for you to really get a grasp of the software really and just the
right.
basic tools. And so like I said, something that's just as simple as a donut, it still, really isn't that because like I said, going back and forth through the videos. Okay, what did he do? To mold this and this and that. It's even in the simplicity of it, it's still a lot of work and it's still something, but it's just
Yeah,
not daunting or just not something like this big explosion or this and that,
right.
which is what I think makes it, really fun to do and a fun thing to
Yeah,
kind of sink your teeth into.
yeah. When you're just trying to learn the software and you're not trying to create the next Marvel shot. You just like, hey, I just want to know what this button does.
And I think that's what, and actually that was really, the thing that kind of turned me off from 3D Studio Max when I first came across 3D Studio. I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, this is way too many buttons and panels and all this kind of stuff. And I always say like when I first started learning 3D, like I said, I started learning it on, and I don't know if you remember Soft Image when it came out.
I do remember Soft Mind.
It's South
That was
Divide. It was
right.
kind of on that level of Maya. They did
Yeah,
Jurassic Park. That was the
yeah,
software that they used to do the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. So that's what excited. Wow, I could be creating these dinosaurs and all of this. But
yeah.
man, because I was trading off graphic design work for a turnkey company that built video systems and sold 3D softwares, and that was one of the softwares. But man, when he came out and they would let me come in and just play around on the computers and learn the 3D. But he
Hmm.
brought out all these stacks of manuals of what's 3D, and I was like, something modular. I mean, man, I
I
can't do
had those manuals.
this.
I had for 3ds Max. I had the 3ds Max Bible. Oh, that thing was thick.
But it was the same way with 3D Studio Max. It was like all these panels and this and that. And so it wasn't
Yeah,
until they started selling Lightwave. I don't know if you remember Lightwave
I
when,
remember Lightwave.
like
Yeah,
it's still a really good software. But at the time, that's what they were using for television because it was
yeah.
really quick. You could really get a lot of good animation and stuff done for TV. So they were using it on like Babylon 5 and stuff like that. But it was really easy for me to grasp, because it didn't have a ton of stuff and a ton of buttons, even though it had a lot of functionality. It
Mhm.
just didn't overwhelm me like say
Yeah,
Maya or 3D Studio Max does, even though it's
yeah.
a industry standard for sure. So do you spend uh, a, a good amount of time now, kind of working through tutorials and things of your own, or do you kind of let the work that you're doing kind of level up your skill and things like that? Do you still spend time learning things, trying things out, or hey, let me just sit down in front of 3D Studio Max and see if I can do this or that or
Absolutely,
After Effects?
absolutely. I am forever a student. I don't care how far I get in my field, how successful I get, I'm forever a student. I always take out time to go find a tutorial, to just go through a tutorial, even if it's something I know how to do already.
Yeah.
I've been compositing since I've been doing visual effects, but just the other day I went through this compositing lesson from Rebel Way, and a lot of stuff I already knew. It was just brushing me up on stuff that I knew, and I actually learned a few things that I didn't know,
Yeah.
like some different green screen keying out methods. Like, oh, I didn't know that you could do it that way. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm always learning. I do try to keep the tutorials relevant to projects that I'm working on. Like if I know I have a project coming up to where a character is going to be using a flamethrower or something like that. Okay, let me go brush up on some stuff. Let me go find the tutorials. I already know how to make a flamethrower, but hey, let me go see how this person is doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe I may like their way a little bit better. Maybe it's a little easier, or maybe it'll help me refine the way that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up tutorials is uh, takes. I always look up at least one or two every week. Just to learn something.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's the beauty of this time that we kind of live in. There's, like I said, you have such access to so much great content. It's kind of an up and a downside because there is a ton of content that you can just get, like I said, lost down a rabbit hole, just going through and spend hours and hours just you know digging into something. But
yeah, it can soak up a lot of YouTube time. So.
YouTube University, you gotta love it, you gotta hate it at the same time.
Yeah, it can definitely soak up some hours, so you gotta be careful with it.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Well, I mean, do you see, like I said, kind of, turning the table a little as far as people of color and specifically black and brown people getting into this industry? What are your thoughts? Are you starting to see a lot more black and brown people? Because I don't know if maybe when you started, that's like you said, you see Andrew Kramer, you see Alan McKay,
Yeah.
these people. Have you come across and started to see more people of color coming out in the industry that you know can be kind of that?
Yeah, I know when I very first got into animation, I know that I went to school with with a lot of other black animators. As a matter of fact, I think you had one on your show, a guy that I went to school with, Sean Bellinger.
Yeah,
Um,
Sean.
I
Sean,
went to
I
school
love
with
Sean,
Sean.
man. Sean, I love Sean.
And like, I'm just going to use him as an example. I see him doing very well. He's working in the game
Oh
industry.
man, yeah,
Um,
EA. Oh,
yeah, we actually reconnected not too long ago, maybe last year. I think we reconnected on Facebook. We hadn't spoken or seen each other in a long time. I think he had just started working at EA,
yeah,
and I was working in between working on films at the time. But yeah, so I went to school with a lot of aspiring black animators. But then when I actually got into animation and visual effects, I didn't see a lot of black and brown animators and visual effects artists at first. But as I got deeper into it, as time passed, I started seeing them more and more, and I ended up reconnecting with him. Saw him doing well. I'm seeing other not necessarily black, but like some Hispanic artists.
yeah, yeah. Just people
I've
of
connected
color
with
in
them.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I've connected with some VFX artists there from Spain and other countries, and man, I've come across a lot of Middle Eastern
yeah, yeah,
visual effects artists. They
yeah,
are thick
yeah,
over there,
yeah.
with a lot of artists trying to come out from those areas. But So yeah, I'm lately I have started seeing a lot more representation, and it's some tough talent.
Oh man, yeah,
It
yeah.
is some tough talent. It's a lot more than just Alan McKay and Andrew Kramer.
Oh man,
It's
yeah, yeah. And I think, like I said, that for me has been the beauty of doing this show, and connecting and seeing so many people. Like I said, LinkedIn's been. I've connected with everybody on LinkedIn. Like I said, the internet is just really opened up this world of talent. Like I said, that you wouldn't have come across or known about before, and coming across so many people of color and diverse talent that's out there has just been just eye opening for me, because it's like, okay,
yeah,
this isn't what I've been seeing. But man, we got
yeah,
some killer people that are out there just doing some amazing work.
yeah, yeah. Because before recently, I would say 5 years ago, if I were to look into the talent pool, like who's doing what, the majority of the faces that I saw would be white men.
Yeah,
um, and I thought that's what the industry was. But then I started seeing a lot more black and brown faces,
yeah,
uh, um, especially with some of the more recent stuff that I've seen, like some guys on LinkedIn sharing their work, and it's black guys
yeah,
so
yeah,
some people hey, I went to school with that person. Look what he's doing over there. And look, this person right here, I took some classes with them, and they're working at Scanline.
yeah.
It's,
Just
and
amazing.
so they're out there, man, and a lot of them are starting to show their faces, starting to show their talent, and being that representation that we need to let other guys know, hey, you're welcome. Come do this.
Yeah, yeah, it can
You
be
can do it
done.
too.
It can be done. So, do you feel like that's kind of the biggest challenge that as people of color, we're having to overcome, just showing and being out there and showing others that it's possible to be done?
Yeah, I think it's just about advertising yourself, where you came from, who you are, and what you're doing now. Which that's something that I struggle with. I'm not a huge self promoter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put work out every now and then, but there's a lot of work that I do that people generally don't see for me.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
suck at self promotion. I really do.
But I think, like I said, and true, you got to balance. A lot of artists and designers, of course, have to balance it with NDA. Oh, I can't put this out
Yeah,
until such
yeah,
and such. So they have to balance
yeah.
it with that. But I think, like I said, it's such, and I tell a lot of people this. It's such a great time now because of this. Like I said, time that we're living in, and you got so many channels to put your content out there. You don't necessarily, and that's where I use, Alan, Andrew Kramer as an example. Just put your content out there, give value. People are gonna find it some
Right.
kind of way. You never know. You never, because the internet is worldwide. You just don't know who is looking at your artwork. And
Right.
and those people that are in the studios and those executives, they're doing the same thing we are, scouring the internet, looking at talent. So
Mm-hmm.
getting your work out there. Like I said, if you're a filmmaker, there's YouTube. If you're an artist, there's Instagram. There's so many different channels. Your own website. There's so many different things, and avenues of getting your artwork out there. That's, you're gonna get seen. You're gonna get
Exactly.
noticed.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to reach out to people.
Yeah,
That's you never know how what kind of relationship you might establish
yeah,
just by saying, "Hey, I like your work."
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
as easy as that.
And
You know.
it's funny you mentioned that, because I did a video yesterday, and it was just a random live stream, but I was having me and a friend of mine were having a conversation about, you have not because you ask not. You
Yeah,
don't
I
ask
saw
for,
you
yeah,
posted
you
that.
don't
Yeah.
ask for. Most people are just afraid to ask, or afraid, whether it's for help. Oh man, I'd like to learn how he would do it, but I'm just afraid to ask him because I don't think he's going to respond, or whatnot.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you ask.
Right.
And 9 times out
Exactly.
of 10, most people are really good about, especially if they see that you say that you're a true fan and impressed with their
Hmm.
work, they won't have a problem with sharing how they've done something or, really, sharing their expertise and knowledge because that's,
Yeah. I
what
think
they're all about.
the the important thing is, first of all, yes, if you want to contact somebody, definitely contact them. But it's being respectful
Yeah.
with how you do it.
Yeah.
Don't contact somebody just asking and asking and asking for something. Try to establish a relationship and respect that that person has other things going on. But if you want some help, know how to ask it,
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
be
Definitely.
respectful about it. Because there have been some times when some people have asked me for stuff, and the way they ask for it is like, uh no.
Let me get back to you. I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, definitely you have to, like I said, approach in the right way and really, like you said, follow their work, really comment on their work, and really, be truly interested in what they're doing. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm impressed with your work. Would love to, just how did you do this? I'm doing this, that type of thing, and not going into it, like I said, trying to get from them, but really,
Right.
truly wanting to build a relationship with them and really, like I said, and that was my thing. Like I said, the kind of approach that, and I told you this when we first connected, my approach is really building relationships with people that
Hmm.
go far
Super
beyond,
important.
far
Yeah.
beyond you being on the show, far beyond any work that we may do, just us having this kind of relationship to where we're both sharing and helping each other. For people that, again, just jumping on, we're having a fun conversation here. Mr. Downtown with the Meal. Question for Stan. Give an example of a bad way to reach out to someone you don't know on LinkedIn.
Hmm. A bad way reach out for somebody. I would say it's really more of a matter of just when you first contact somebody, the first thing you're doing is asking them for something. You know, I would say what you really want to do is you want to give them a reason to invest in you, because when you're asking for something, you're asking them to invest time in you. You're asking them to invest something in you. Why should they do that? You're some Joe Blow off the street. They don't know you. They don't know if their investment in you is going to be worth it. Like, are you going to do something with that?
Yeah.
So I would say first, establish a relationship with them. Establish some kind of rapport with them. Hey, I follow you. I like your work. I do this. I do this. I do that. And then after you've established some kind of relationship, after you let them know what you're doing, the trajectory of your path right now, let them know what your obstacle is. I'm trying to do this, but I don't know how. Is there anything you can do to help me? That way, after you've established that relationship, let them know that you have some credibility behind you, then they're more inclined to invest in you. They're in if it's just even just a little bit of time, like,
Yeah.
hey, here's a link, check this out.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
they have a reason to do so. Because even myself, I've been guilty of of um of receiving some kind of aid, even if it's just like, hey, do it this way, and not following up on it. I've done that before. So, there are a lot of people who do that. You take the time to invest in them, teach them how to do something, and then they never do anything with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would I spend my time teaching you how to do something if, if
If
you
you're not
just
gonna
go waste?
follow the advice I give you.
Yeah. so,
No,
so
but
yeah.
dude, I totally concur with that. Demille, yeah, really, it is about developing a relationship, and letting that person know that you genuinely are interested. You follow, like I said, you follow their work. And I do that. And just as an example, this is what I basically do when I'm approaching people and connecting with them about being on the show. I follow their work. I let them know, hey, I'm really impressed with the work that you're doing, how you're doing it, commenting on their posts and things like that. Really vested in where they're going in their career, and letting them know, hey, I have this show. I really would like to highlight what you're doing and really promote what you're doing. Build a relationship, and I tell people this. I think this is the one big factor in how I've gotten so far ahead in booking, because I spend an inordinate amount of time really building relationships with the guests and really trying to and Stan will confirm this. I tell every guest that I'm more committed to, it's all for me, it's all about the relationship that goes way beyond you being on the show. I'm really interested in building relationships with everybody, and I spend a lot of time trying to build relationships and build a true friendship, because it is a small industry and everybody knows everybody, and nobody wants to, like Stan said, nobody really wants to help you if they feel like that all you're coming to them is to get, and not really, concerned about them, really trying to give them anything or share anything with them. So give
Yeah.
value, give friendship, and you'll get that in return. And that's really, I feel, the best way that you connect and build relationships with people.
Yeah, and a lot of times, when you say them investing their time in you, the return on that investment is a lot of times they just want to see you follow through and gain success from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. So hopefully that landed well with you there, Demille. Take it, run with it, for sure. But keep that in mind. Really, just really focus on relationships, and really trying to build a deep relationship. Follow what they do. Follow their work. Comment on their posts. Really try and lift them up, and like I said, you'll find good things come from it. What do you feel like, if any, the biggest misconception of visual effects? Have you come across any big misconceptions that people may have or may not have about visual effects and what you do?
There is a very common phrase that us visual effects artists make fun of that's used in production, and thankfully it's getting used less and less, is fix it in post.
Yeah, we'll just leave it to post. They'll fix it.
We'll fix it in post. No, 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 no.
Oh man,
I
yeah.
would say that is the biggest misconception that still gets to me, is everybody feels like everything can and should be done in post. No, I mean, you can do a whole lot in post, a lot more than what a lot of people may think, but that doesn't mean you should.
No. And I think that's where
That
planning.
overuse.
Well, I think that's where planning comes
Oh yeah,
into
yeah,
play. If a director really plans out the film and the shots, he'll have to do, there won't be as much post, that needs to be done, because he's planned out a lot of things. Oh, I need to shoot it this way, or I need to have this done
yeah,
this way. So it makes the
yeah.
process a whole lot easier, so that you know you're not dumping everything in the post.
Exactly, exactly. And I'll say it. I said it before. I say it again. It'll save you money in the long
In
run,
the
because you're
long
not
run,
having
it
to pay for
will.
those extra hours to fix mistakes.
Yeah.
You know. So it's always get all of your creative people in on board before you put one camera on set. You know.
For sure, for sure. And I think
Yeah.
the seasoned directors have quickly learned that.
Yeah.
bring people in as early as possible, for
Yes.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. We've talked about you know. Uh, Andrew Kramer and all the tutorials and stuff he's done. And you've
Hmm.
already said that you've created some things of your own. Is that kind of an avenue that you would consider going down? Really, he's really gotten into plugins and things like that. Really offering
Yeah.
people easier ways and more convenient ways as a starting point to do things. Is that something that you've kind of thought about? Would be something that you might want to get into as well as you start to develop your own kind of techniques and plugins for doing things?
It's funny you ask. but but yes, it is not available yet. But I am working on. So I have my website originpointvfx.com. There's not much there. It's just an advertisement for the work that I do now.
Yeah.
But I am expanding on that, and I just recently got a new domain, which will be my home for a lot of assets that
Yeah.
I'm developing, and it is random teapot.
That's
Random
interesting.
teapot.
Random teapot.
Yeah, randomteapot.com. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing a lot of pre-rendered assets. I'm doing a lot of 3D assets that 3D artists will be able to take and put into their scenes. I will be putting up textures and scripts and tools that I create, and I'm gonna be putting all of that up. Some stuff I'm gonna put up for free. Some stuff is gonna
Yeah.
be a premium. Because you got to give people some reason to come to your site
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get out some little freebies. Hey, this is a little bit of the quality you can expect
Yeah.
from some of from some of the other stuff. So yeah, that's something that's in the development right now. I'm working on the website. I'm working on building up my asset library, and me and my wife who I mentioned before is my manager.
Yeah, yeah, she's your manager. You need to start getting some other,
Yeah,
there's some other revenue streams we can get coming in.
And that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what, because I,
Yeah,
I was thinking to myself, man, I am working too much.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
enjoying what I'm doing, but I need to be able to take a break.
yeah,
And
yeah.
in order to do that, I need to have some just passive revenue coming
Revenue
in.
stream. And all the
And
other ones are doing it. I mean, everybody's realized that, like I said, as they're, doing their thing, they're creating all these asset courses. Like I said, Alan McKay's really heavily into education and courses now. So
yeah,
everybody is doing it now.
yeah. Yeah, and it's about finding that market that hasn't been tapped just yet. And I don't want to say it out loud right here because I don't want to give too many people ideas. But I think I found the market that hadn't been tapped yet. And
Hey, I heard that.
so, so
And to
I'm gonna keep that
everybody,
little tidbit of information to myself until it comes out.
well, we'll reserve that for you. Trust me, I get it. Sometimes you just can't put that type of information out there. You want to keep a little bit to yourself there. So I totally understand. And for everybody just tuning in, all this information will be in the show notes for sure, and all the contact information for Stan will be in there. So uh, you'll definitely be able to find him and the website and his content when it starts to come out and stuff like that. I'm curious if you were to kind of, and like I said, for everybody, we've been having a great conversation. And I want to thank, just take a little moment here to kind of, again, thank you, Stan, for being on, sharing your skills, your
Thank you.
knowledge, and just having you on. I say this all the time, and, I've said it just a few minutes ago, say it to all my guests. Having you on, I don't have guests on, I have friends on. So the fact that we connected, I'm just super excited that we've built this relationship and friendship, and so excited to take it even further. And it goes beyond you being on the show for sure. But one last question. really, before you go, if you could go back in time and stand in front of your younger self, what would be the one? What would be kind of the one thing that you would make sure that you kind of say? Or,
Ah, man. I think back on my younger self with a lot of cringe moments. So that is a good question. Uh, there are a lot of things that I did in my past that I would probably consider mistakes, but those mistakes helped inform
yeah,
who I am today.
yeah,
So I can't say that I would go back and tell myself not to do something, because if I were to do that, then I'd probably miss out on some of the blessings that I've had.
yeah,
Um, but I definitely would tell myself that you have the talent, you have the skills, and you will be doing what you love to do one day. Just don't give up. And obviously, I didn't give up,
yeah,
but there were a lot of times where I felt like maybe I should, maybe I'm not good enough.
yeah,
And I could avoid some of those depressing eras
yeah,
if if I could go back and tell myself, hey, one day you're going to be doing some big things.
yeah,
And I have some big things coming that people have not seen yet, and I'm very excited
yeah.
for some stuff that's coming next year. Feature film stuff, company expansion stuff. It's a lot of things coming, and so I just let myself know, hey, keep putting in the work.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, put in a little bit more work.
More work. I know that's why I would tell myself, man, you need to get some more, get your butt up and start doing some stuff.
Drop the controller. Drop the controller. You don't need to finish that level. Go.
No, but that was definitely a bomb there. Oops, I hit the wrong one. Explosion. That was definitely a bomb there. Trust, we never really think about it. Of course, we don't when we're younger. We don't think further ahead and where we'll be. But trust in, trust in yourself and your abilities, and you'd be surprised where it might take you, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm super, super excited about having you back on as these things unfold and coming back on and sharing just all the new exciting things that are happening for you and going to happen for you in 2022 for sure. Um, like I said, Stan, I want to thank you for, like I said, just taking this little bit of time um, and coming on and being on the show and being a part of the Color and Motion family. Like I said, I'm just so honored to have you into the fold.
Thank you.
And share what you're doing, because you, like I said, have some mad skills, and just I can't wait to see, like I said, what you're doing. And definitely we have to get together, and like I said, I got a lot more questions.
Let's get that coffee, Don.
Yeah, we're gonna have coffee for sure. Everybody, like I said, it's been an awesome, awesome show. Again, all his contact. Oh, before we do, make sure that you jump over. You can connect with Stan on his website, originpointvfx.com. Go there, check out more of what he's doing. Like I said, he's got a new website coming out. When that launches, we'll definitely be throwing that information in there as well, bringing him back on to share all the other great new stuff that's happening. Connect with him on his Instagram channel, Stan VFX. Also, you can connect with him.
Excuse me, Don. I did actually just recently change my Instagram name.
Okay, let me.
So it's very recent. It's CGI_Stan. Now.
Okay, hold on here. I want to make sure that I get that. CGI_Stan.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a funny story. I don't want to take up too much more time.
No, go ahead.
Well, we're selling this film that we just finished up, and a lot of industry people were seeing some of the effects in the film. And one of the producers who was looking at the effects, she was impressed by a lot of the effects, and so to the director, she started calling me CGI Stan, CGI Stan, and then I was like,
I like that.
hey, you know, that's not too bad.
let me snap that up before somebody else.
Let me snatch that real quick. Yeah.
Hey, you gotta grab opportunity when it comes, baby. I understand. I totally understand. Instagram CGI_Stan is the new handle for Instagram. Connect with them there, man. All his other handles may change pretty soon. You never know.
Hopefully not. Hopefully I can stay consistent.
Also, you can connect with him on LinkedIn. That's where, like I said, I met Stan and we started our friendship there. Stan Hillard. Connect with him. Definitely reach out, connect with him. Like I said, if you need some visual effects work, just want to learn, just want to, like I said, have somebody inspirational to follow, connect with them for sure. Again, all this information will be on the show notes for sure. You can definitely go there and check them out as well. Stan, like I said, this has been a fun, man. And like I said, if you could hang out for just a second in the green room while I close out the show, I would appreciate that. Everybody, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I have and, got some value out of it. I know you have, for sure. Definitely, if you're just tuning in a little bit late, you're always able to check out the full episode, like I said, on the YouTube channel for sure. But everybody, please, like I said, help me thank my guest and friend, Mr. Stan Hillard Jr. for sure.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed being here.
All right. And again, if you can hang out for just 1 second while I close out the show, I appreciate it. Guys, I have so much fun, like I said, doing these episodes. Like I said, you just don't know. Like I said, and you can tell, like I said, by all the great guests and friends that I have on. It's a fun time. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like I said, make sure that you, again, get connected into the Facebook group community. Like I said, Stan's in there, chopping it up with all the other guests and all the other people in the community. I definitely want you to be a part of it. Facebook.com/group/The Color Emotions. Come on, join the Color Emotion family. We have a, family is family. You gotta love family, and we have a great time. Not your typical family that's always arguing, but, we have fun. So I definitely want you to be a part of it for sure. What else? Like I said, we got one more episode next week before the holiday kicks in. For sure, and it's going to be a blast. So I definitely don't want you to miss that one. Next week's guest, I am so excited about, looking forward to Jeanette Lara, animation writer with Moondog, Nickelodeon, and so many other great companies. We're going to have a fun sit down and just dive into some animation writing. She's funny. Like I said, we're going to have a fun time. So make sure that you tune in. Like I said, it's going to be a great, great show. With that, we are going to close this out. Like I said, it was a great episode, had fun, and know you did as well. Make sure that you tune in next week, same bat time, same bat channel, and have a great and productive rest of the weekend and week. See you next week. Cheers.